up, everybody? We are back after a brief break, but I'm promising and hoping that we won't be gone that long again. I'm your girl, Cece, aka Cece Gilbert Photo, with my co-host here.
I'm Ty Knight. Ty Knight Slay Dragons.
And this is Two Truths and
All
All Facts. So today we want to dive right into it. I thought it was going to be a great idea to hop back into it today because a lot has been going on in the world, and I just kind of want to, touch on these bases, see how we're feeling. I've talked to a couple folks about these things as well. So, let's just have a good old family gathering and get to it. So first things first, we're going to hop right into it. Drake just released the album. How you feel about it? How do you feel about it? And in case you don't know, album title, honestly, Nevermind. That's what it's called.
Great choice of titles, because there's so much. I mean, just the memes that have been coming from the choice of titles. I'm like, I gotta applaud it, but I gotta applaud Drake, because like on an artist level, he's pushed the boundaries yet again. Yeah. The music, the production, is about to take pop and hip hop into a whole different direction, as Drake always does. Mm-hmm. And I think it was smart not to really announce it, because Certified Lover Boy got so much hype, and I feel like, there was so much like up and down about it, and like at the end of the day, like the hype overpowered the actual album, right? To where nobody expected this, and I think if they had, a lot more people would be disappointed. And I mean, I can say like off rip, like I was kind of disappointed. Okay. At the lyricism and the artistry and the individual of Drake, Mm-hmm. But as a whole, the whole project, if Drake's name wasn't attached to it, it's like it's applaudable. Yeah. Yeah. But just knowing what Drake has done in his career and like how people always sleep on him being like one of the rappers. Like he has that ability, which maybe he just didn't want to showcase it on this. But I also think if you go back to his first mixtape, the November 18th, y'all might be able to help me out with the name. I think it was November 18th or October very own, something like that. But he was wearing the pea coat, he had the leaves falling in the back. Right. He was a singing nigga on that tape. And he was spitting some bars, that's when he had the track with Trey Songz that really kind of like made him take off. Mm-hmm. And he was singing, but the difference was like there was a lot of lyricism in those R&B lyrics. Right. And there was a lot of relatability. And I think just if you listen to this, like it just sounds like he made songs for the clubs, It's not much wordplay, not much lyricism, it's just that shit you could.
And that's why I want to interject. So first of all, this is categorized as a dance album. This is not under hip hop. Right. This is not under R&B. This is a dance album, and I believe first dance album for Drake. So I feel like people are judging with everything Drake has given us in the past, and that's why I feel like people are seeing this as a flop, because people aren't looking with new lenses. How can you judge a dance album by his lyricism when I really don't think that's what he was going for at all? And I feel like that's kind of why it wasn't announced. Not that, because Drake, he's that type of dude. I feel like he could do that all the time, never announce an album, but I feel like this was honestly kind of probably either a passion project or something he wanted to try. And I look at it this way too. Drake just did what the club DJs do to his music anyway. Like literally anyway. They gon' isolate the vocals. They gon' mix it with fucking EDM. They're gonna mix this shit. So I feel like this is all an album of, I don't know, I didn't check into the producers he worked with, but I really do feel like this came from just a place a place where he was intrigued by something. And we all know Drake to be, and that's why I'm just asking people to look at this project with a new lens. You can use some of the stuff that you know about Drake. Like I will say, I agree with you. His lyricism didn't change, but I feel like that's why I just give it. I gave the album. I'm gonna go to ratings real quick. I gave the album a B- and a 6.5 out of 10. And this is the reason why I did, because his lyricism is the same. If you like Drake for his lyricism, I wouldn't complain. If you're like you, I understand your mindset with music. You want to see people elevate, right. Especially when, people consider him the GOAT. You want to see that from them with everything. And I respect that because it's like, if you're going to hold that title, hold it up all the time. And that's not a wrong thing to, expect from somebody. It's not. So I won't disagree with you on that. Just with this project. Right. But overall,
and I think that's where I'm kind of split because right. It's like as an artist, I'm like, yeah, my nigga did that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But as a rapper, like if we keep attaching this, Drake is one of the GOAT rappers. Drake is one of right. the best to ever do it. Like that you can't attach him to hip hop and say he's right. This album shows he's one of the best to do right. it. Like you really got to look at this like a separate project. It's almost like when Kid Cudi went and did the whole rock band thing, right. or when Lil Wayne went and did
exactly.
the rock, it's exactly. like it's a whole separate entity. Like exactly. you can't put it in the hip hop category or the rap category because like I'm not even gonna front. Like if you go through and you listen to Drake rap, like he killing these niggas. He
right.
killing
the
street
bars
niggas.
For sure.
Yeah.
He has bars.
But to call this a rap album and I think that's why everybody's so disappointed is because when you hear Drake drop the album, you thinking right. like, oh, we about to have Summer 16 all over right. again. And that's just not the case.
Okay, everybody in the league, it's gone. It's gone. Summer 16 is gone. Everything was at an all-time high that year. I don't know what was in the air of 2016, but we cannot get it back. We can't, okay? We're not going to get that Uzi back. We're not getting it back, okay? But I do want to touch on some things, though. First of all, I believe you're absolutely right. We do need to stop saying Drake is one of the top rappers, right? And not because he can't rap. This is why I want to say that. I believe Drake is bigger than rap. I do. I believe Drake is bigger than rap, and hip hop heads and fans, we hold him into this bubble because we know him as ours, right? Like we all grew up with Drake. Literally, even these kids, we grew up with Drake. Drake was an innovator for a lot, and that's why I need people to understand that. I feel like people appreciate whatever the character. I love Drake for singing. I do. Take Care was one of my favorite. It's probably my top 3 albums of all time. Top 3 albums of all time for me. I played that. I had that burned on a CD, and this was like the last year CDs were like really going. I had it burned on a CD every day in my Jeep Cherokee playing that shit.
It was an amazing
all
album.
The time.
And then definitely I played that shit back to back to back. But
still to this day,
for me, like nothing was the same. Like that was
that's also
because I feel like that's when Drake was the most relatable and he was spitting the coldest bars and he was really like rapping and there were the little R&B things here, but I feel like that's when Drake really like won me over because it was like, okay, yeah, he's a rapper's rapper, you know.
Okay, so going back to this, his influence, right? I also have to because I feel like people they try to project on Drake, and I'm just not with it, right? Because you have people from the time he started, well, he ain't no real rapper, he ain't no street dude, this, that, and the third, and he raps like this, or he's talking about this. You have to understand, most people don't even have a story like Drake. Drake is first an actor before all of this. Yeah. No matter how many music accolades he get, this and that, you can go and watch seasons of Degrassi with Drake on it. Not even Drake, Aubrey Graham. So you have to understand that path in itself is different from a lot of artists. You know what I'm saying? So for people to project all of that on, like he came from a different background. It's not to say he didn't put his work in, because he did put his work in. I'm a huge Drake fan, so I've seen so many interviews. I've gotten the back scoop on what he was getting paid and all of this, how Young Money was running when he first got signed, and the work he put in to be where he is. He definitely put in that work. But you also got to understand different type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of the people who listen to him ain't even from Toronto. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna try to compare your hood to some? Have you even been to Canada? You know what I'm saying? So aside from that, I'm just like, I bring all of that up because he already started on a different plate for most.
Well, we still on the Drake category. Right. But that kind of brings me into something I've been thinking about lately, and it's like, rap is such associated with this street and gangster shit, and it's like if you listen to the best rap albums of all time, like they ain't talking about shooting niggas, they ain't talking about selling drugs, they talking about real life relatable shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So and a lot of these street niggas, like I hate to say it, a lot of you street not niggas really can't rap. Or you know? They not even like, not living it. With the exception of like an ESTG or an Icewear Vezo, like y'all niggas not really spitting. So it's like we gotta take that let's get off of that. Out of it.
Let's get off of that for one, because I feel like we judge so hard on that. But going back to like what I was even talking about. So one, he's from a different cloth anyway.
Right. Two, right.
Over all these years, and I mean I got a list, and I want to just name some of these people off. These are people that Drake is responsible for either giving them a cosign and launching their career or discovering them. So I'm going to just name a few because this list is very long. Like, go check it yourself. But you got The Weeknd, you got Division, you got Party Next Door, you got Pop Can, you got Tim's, you got Lil Baby, you got Georgia Smith, you got, who else? OG McConan. So many other people. The list is long and long. Drake is responsible for launching and taking these people's career to the next level. So that already shows you he's different. And he was doing all of this while being an artist himself. So I honestly predict within the next 5 years, I don't really think Drake is necessarily working about being Drake the artist anymore. I think Drake is worried about being Drake the executive, Drake the CEO. Like, I really do feel like he is the next generation's Dr. Dre. Like, I feel like where his mindset is, and even though he's still gonna always he's an artist, but I feel like where his mindset is in the development and how he just absorbs himself into different cultures and different styles of music, and even people who people might consider they are some of the worst rappers, he'll give them a cosign because he sees the very thing that you don't until later.
Yeah, like the JB Block Boy.
Right. You know, even his homeboy Smiley, he didn't have to do those records with him. Yeah. But even now, going and looking at his numbers after that shit that hit the radio came out, he still got numbers. You know, so he's doing what he had to, even if it's just launching to him.
You can't say Drake hasn't always been smart and influential.
Right.
I mean, because if you think about it, when Wayne got locked up, Drake had the run of his life. You know what I'm saying?
What he say?
He made sure nobody forgot Young Money. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Even still to this day, I forget that song he had. Whose album was it on? Was it on his album? Was it on? Yeah, it was. It was on. Wasn't it on? Dang. Why am I blanking? What was the last album you just put out? With the pregnant lady on, the pregnant emoji. Certified Lover Boy. The shit with Nicki and Wayne, how they were just like, there was nostalgic for me. I often bumped that because it was just so nostalgic to hear the three of them rapping back to back to back. Like the songs that we grew, like I literally was in middle school to high school when they were just dropping tracks after track like that. So I really appreciate that. All I'm really trying to get people to see is like, sometimes you really do have to look at things with a different lens because Drake is a mogul. Like, Drake is a mogul, and I feel like there's a bigger picture to the stuff he does.
But, I mean, not just him. Like, we got to stop, like, because we see the pop artists cross over into our territory all the time.
Right.
So we got to stop expecting rappers to stay rappers, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be a 21 Savage or a Drake or a fucking J. Cole or a Kendrick or a fucking Lil Baby or even new niggas on the block, you know what I'm saying? Like, when they reach a certain level, it's like you can stay in the studio fucking 24/7 for the next 10 years, and you think you really gonna be writing the same bars, the same flow. Like, they're evolving as artists, so we gotta respect that from Drake. I just think the world is gonna be disappointed because we know Drake to be a rap nigga who sets the summer off every time he drops, and this I think is just going in a completely different direction.
It is, for sure.
And it's not to say that like 2 weeks from now we're not gonna hear this shit bumping in every club from Germany to here. You know what I'm saying?
I predict it will be. Like I said, this album is what club DJs do to Drake's music anyway. Literally. Anyway, I don't know how many times I've been into a club, even into like people making jokes like this sounds like something that would be played at Abercrombie and Fitch. You don't know how many times I go in there and they have dubstep remix a Drake song. Yeah, like, you know, so, but I'm glad you did bring up that topic, though, because people did it with Kendrick Lamar in his last album. I heard so many people, I ain't even gonna lie, I gotta be truthful. When I had to spin it 4 times. I had to spin it 4 times before I appreciated it. And it wasn't because of his lyricism or anything. It just, coming off Damn to that, I was like, man.
Yeah, nah.
Do you know how, like, you know, like.
But see, that was me and To Pimp a Butterfly. Coming off a Good Sid, Mad Kitty to roll into Pimp a Butterfly, I was like, oh, what the hell?
Right.
This the Dr. Dre fucking kid.
Right. Right. But after after giving it time, I bump it every day. Yeah. Every day. And so I feel like as consumers, we have to be open to experimental things. We have to be open to change, even new direction, because you don't know what it's gonna pay for the next scene.
And that's just it. I mean, there's so many people who champion hip hop and champion rap, but then hate when there's growth and change. Right. You know. Right. And it's like rap is really only what, like 50, 60 years old, if even that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Where you got rock music where you could go back fucking maybe like 100 years ago, pull a rock album, you know. So it's like there's been more space for pop music and rock music and country music and all that stuff to grow and evolve. Yes. But then when it comes to rap artists taking elements and going into those different genres, you know, it's hated on so much. Right. And
I mean, the perfect example of that, Tyler the Creator. The perfect example of that. I'm like, I feel his frustration, because it's like, what more does this guy have to do to show you he's here to stay, to show you that he deserves the Grammy, to show you that he's selling out these stadiums, to show you that he's selling out these clothes, to show you that he's different, but he's still popping his shit. Yeah. You know, like, I feel like he's like the perfect person in our generation who is like, everything we just talked about. I feel like his whole career has gotten that the entire time. Entire time. So,
went from the most underground artist ever to fucking
mainstream,
making pop music with Pharrell and shit. This nigga got 21
Savage
and Pharrell on a track, and that shit slap.
I listen to it. I listen to it, man.
But yeah, I think that's all it comes down to, is like, I'm still gonna say, like, I'm disappointed to call this a Drake album, but a month from now it's gonna be like Drake done pushed the boundaries of music again. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I can applaud him for everything he's done. Just when it comes back to rap, like, let's just stop attaching the rap stigma to Drake, and maybe we could stop being so disappointed. Because I know that was my error. Is I was expecting another Summer 16.
I'm gonna say I'm opposite of a lot of people's feelings on this. I bumped this twice already today. It literally just dropped last night, like midnight. I bumped it twice all the way through. I'm bumping. I'm not disappointed. Is it my favorite? No, but I get down with some of the songs on there. I do. I feel like the rest will grow on me as I'm playing it, but I played it twice already through. And I'm not necessarily disappointed. It's definitely a different direction, but I'm interested to see what artist he pops out with next, what he does with this, even if he might never do this again. But, you know, I don't think it was a total L. I give it a B minus.
I mean, I'd go higher than that, because honestly, like, me and my girl, we listened to it like 3 times, you know, like, just in the background, like, we couldn't really tap in because we was both saying the same thing, like, the lyricism we were expecting wasn't there, but, like, as far as like background vibing music, like music that you probably gonna hear for the next couple years in the background somewhere, like, it's cool. Right. And you can't say that about a lot of shit. Right. But that being said, Westside Boogie dropped, Kevin Gates dropped. Yeah. So if you're looking for some real rap music, like, there is plenty of music to be found this summer. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Don't expect this from Drake right now.
There is more coming too as well. And I know I'll tell you who gonna get down to this right now. Them shufflers, I'm like, for real, like, they are, you know, and like, for real, I know hip hop fans are probably like, but you know, this is gonna get spent. This is being spent right now, but